Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about the profile of people who get it. And as always, it's not just about real estate.
By the way, yesterday I talked about my COH. So for anyone who didn't catch the show yesterday, I took COH as my personal components of hotness. And so it could be Stephen meant it as a component of hotness for buying land, and I took
for
it
real
as
estate markets.
For purposes of the business, and I took it to a teenage level, which component of
good.
Hotness, which is,
this always happens.
It's the component of hotness. Let's just be honest with it. So anyway, one very important component of hotness is people who get it.
Oh,
that's why
nice
I'm
time.
tying this back in. Because, if you don't get it, on my component of hotness, that's like a whopping 0.
Oh, your personal
if you
component of
don't
hotness.
get it, if you walk around not getting life, or you're an extreme narcissist or something like that.
Big words today.
I am. Well,
I agree with you on all this.
that actually will take off some of the other good components. Say you're attractive. Oh no, I'm sorry. It works against you. So I had to bring that up if you don't get it.
We can talk about component of hotness, and
That's
we can tie it right into this topic, actually. Before we do that, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Milan, we have a couple questions with Milan this week. Milan asks, let's say you have $100,000 and you can make only $25,000 of that in acquisitions. That gives you, you can only make $25,000 acquisitions. Okay.
4 acquisitions.
So that gives you 4 shots. This is funny. These are very, just thinking out there. I love it.
This is good stuff.
Yeah. What type of land do you buy? What are the comps? And what do you sell it for? Is it the classic buy for $25,000, comps at $100,000, sell for $50,000, or would you do different numbers? Steve, Jill, others?
If I had $100,000 and I had to buy land, not wholesale houses, I would probably spend $80,000 or $90,000 on a piece of property. I'm not saying you should do this because I've been doing this since the 90s. So when I buy a piece of property, I have a tremendous amount of confidence. It's risk-free. Yes, Jill. Jill's famous for saying, Steve came out of his dark room and said we should go buy X, and she doesn't even question it anymore because she knows I was obsessing on whether or not it's going to work and take all the risk out of it. And I've already looked at 500 deals, and this one finally got to her, and she's like, yeah. She doesn't even question it. So, but this is what I would do. I would take $80,000 or $90,000 of that, and I would search and send a ton of mail out, and buy the perfect property, and probably sell it for $300,000 or $400,000. We're doing several deals like that. That's what I would do. What do I think you should do? If you've got $100,000 of acquisition money, I think I would probably break it up into 2 or 3 properties in different markets. I know this is hard because it takes a lot of time and work, but it'll pay out.
Right.
And I would probably try to generate, not double my money, because now I'm assuming Milan's been involved in this for a while. Yeah. I'm assuming this $100,000 came from the fact that you now know what you're doing. And I would stop with the doubling and tripling the money on rural vacant land, and I would take an infill lot, probably somewhere in a really, really good vacation spot area west of the United States, west of the Mississippi, and in that $33,000 acquisition, try to turn it into $50,000 as fast as you can. Forget about the profitability, or maybe even $33,000 to $45,000, and then do that over and over and over and over and over again. With speed, not so much dollars per transaction. Dollars per transaction is what I described for me.
Right.
I don't think you're there yet. And it's good that this is all good. You have a bunch of dough, but that's just kind of step 2.
Well, the nice thing is too, what you just said too is you're talking about speed up, get these transactions, and at this dollar amount, you can do the speed because you're not doing the work.
Yeah, remember, you're selling on the MLS.
Well, yeah, because you have a title company doing the middle part, and you're posting it in different places. It's all going to go different. You're doing less work, less input for more output.
You're exactly right.
That's what you want to do.
You're using an escrow agent now to close it instead of closing it yourself.
Right.
And you're posting it on a fixed price MLS, so you're allowing some more. You have X. It's just faster and easier. Right. And so that's the second. You're shifting into from second to third gear now.
I like that.
Don't worry about third to fourth. We'll talk about that. I'm in sixth gear. Jill and I are in sixth gear, and
thank goodness both of our vehicles go to 7.
They do go to 7.
They do go to 7.
What is that? When did that happen?
I know.
That last car I had a manual 3-speed, 3 speeds, and now these highfalutin new cars have 7 speeds. They tell you when to shift and stuff.
Didn't my last little green car have 5? I think it was 5. Yeah. Yeah, jumping to 5 to 7 is interesting. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So
3 to 7 is interesting.
Yeah.
Today's topic: people who get it and people who don't. This is the meat of the show. We covered this 2 days ago. With the guitar show about can you play the guitar and do you really even want to? So let's say you can play the guitar and you do want to play the guitar, and it comes easy to you, and all the stuff that we talked about on that show applies, and it's easy for you. I mean, do you really get it then? Here's an example. Can you describe the posting that Seth Williams in between recording shows just now? Jill shared with me what Seth just posted on social media. Seth Williams, who's in our business.
Yeah. Ari tips for Seth. He's in our group too. So Seth posted an image of a really cool black, I think it was a Ferrari, and the license plate said 2.7 GPA.
Meaning the guy got a D+ in school.
Right. And he's driving
by
that
the way,
car.
Seth, nobody gets it more than Seth. I have nothing but respect for Seth, by the way. We work together on all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But the guy who's got this Ferrari, I'm not sure that he gets it.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, the guy that does a video on YouTube or on Facebook, who's standing in front of his new Bentley and says, "You can have one too." Doesn't get it.
Yeah, I hate
That's not how you do this.
I hate those. I keep seeing that, by the way. There's one thing, I haven't seen it in a couple weeks now, but I swear for like a week straight in social media, I kept seeing the same image of someone who put their child in the front seat behind the steering wheel of their Rolls Royce. I'm like, really? I think this is just ridiculous. It's stupid. Why you shouldn't be. I don't know why people use that as a way of promoting themselves. Bothers me.
Somebody told me
it's a little bit over the top.
Long time ago. Let's take the real estate out of this for a second. Somebody told me a long time ago that there's 2 types of people on this planet: people who get it and people who don't.
Right.
And that means different things for everybody.
Right.
Like that, your hotness ties into this hotness factor.
Yeah, it is. All comes back to the COH.
So
I'm gonna wear a shirt around that's like a COH.
You know what's really how people pass the hotness factor for me?
Oh, please tell.
It's not. I mean, and it probably was different when I was younger, but it's all about just having fun and laughing and being honest and going and doing silly stuff, like stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing at your age.
Right.
And that's totally massive. I mean, that describes.
Well, I'm good at that.
Describes you. Basically, Jill's a
things I shouldn't be doing at my age.
She's a tomboy who can pull off a dress.
Thank you.
And so that to me is like it ends right there for me in a good way.
Thank you.
You get it. You always have. You got it since the day I met you.
Thanks. I do get it.
You're not.
I get frustrated by people who don't get it.
You're not trying to impress anybody. You're not trying to be something you're not. And I think all that material stuff, we're now strangers to some of this traps. They're traps.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a big, huge advertisement that you don't get it. And I'll say this. Here's another set of people who don't get it. Over the years, our friends have come to us saying, you've got all these people in your group that are so successful at this. I'm looking to make a change. Can you help me? And I say, then my reaction, it no longer is no longer this way. But it used to be, oh my gosh, yes, I'm happy to. We've been friends forever. All this stuff's free. Here's your username. Here's your password. Knock yourself out. I hope you hit the top 5 percentile. Without exception, we have lost every single one of those friends, and here's why. And it ended in a fiery ball of tragedy. It didn't just end like, thanks, Steve, but I don't have time to do this, which is really what happened.
Right.
It ended because they're so embarrassed that they couldn't figure out Excel and just the basics of buying and selling land on their own in a self-study environment versus a whole hand-holding environment. And they just didn't call us. They stopped calling us because they're embarrassed. Or the chances are it was in their wheelhouse. Chances are they could have played the guitar. They just didn't make it a priority.
Or one person took it to the other extreme, and they were using you for the stupid questions. They didn't get it.
Well, they were just blaming us. Why is this should be easier?
No.
I
took it like, like, I know you have your PhD, but I need you to help me because I'm still in, 101.
Yeah.
Accounting 101. I know I'll get there where you are, and that's not the person. You shouldn't go to that person for that kind of stuff,
So, and that's just one example. There's just all kinds of examples of people who get it and people who don't. But in general, if you do this one thing, you will get it. And it's take responsibility for yourself and on your success and your failures, and just take responsibility for yourself.
I see it differently.
You take total responsibility, Jill, for everything. Almost maybe you might take responsibility for other people's stuff too much, but
sure.
I'm not criticizing you at all. I hope you know that. I'm just saying, and you do it out of niceness, but take responsibility for the fact that you either can learn this stuff or you can't. And don't blame, let's say, the Land Academy's customer service department for the fact that you can't remember your username and password.
I look at it like this. Okay, so the topic today is profile people who get it. People who get it, to me, are confident people. They're confident, and they do take responsibility, like you said. But for me, they take responsibility going, I'm going to learn this. He's talking about Excel stuff. I don't really know that much. I'm going to spend all weekend, do every Excel thing I can find on my own. There's so much YouTube out there free on the internet. And by the end of the weekend, now I'm now a solid intermediate or upper level beginner. I know I can keep up. I can do this. So that's for me taking responsibility. They get it. They're trying. They're really trying. People who and don't make excuses.
Yep.
That like, oh, well, it's not my fault. The computer just, I don't know what's the problem. It won't turn on now. You know what I mean? There's always something like that. It's not my fault. Well, how about you unplug some things, maybe power on and off. I don't know. Maybe run some defrag, and if we still do whatever,
No.
You know what I'm trying to say.
What she's saying is, how about whatever it is, you don't get emotional about it at all.
Get past
you don't get heated about it at all.
You don't.
You go onto YouTube and you find out why your computer's not turning on. Maybe you do it on your phone.
You
just get past it.
Right.
Those kinds of people get it.
You know what else I think people who get it?
I have a lot to say.
So it's secure. They are taking responsibility. They're solving their own problems. But it's also the people who get it, like not just in our world, I'm saying like in life too. They're not afraid to take some chances and just jump. They're like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm going to land somewhere close to this target. I'm going for it, man.
And if I don't, I'll jump again.
Right.
And if I don't that time,
I'll figure it out. I'll tweak it and get it right the next time. That's someone who gets it too.
Here's another example of somebody who gets it. People ask us all the time. People ask us this question as much as they ask about real estate. What is it with you and Jill? Why do you guys get along? What the hell?
Huh. Well, it's Jill.
Here's why. Here's the
do you know how much patience she has?
Here's the whole secret to the whole thing. If Jill comes to me, or if I go to her and say, look, this thing's not working, this thing that we're working on, or whatever, this over here, or your toenails are too long, my reaction is not, God, what are you talking about? My reaction is, oh, wow, I didn't notice that. Thanks. I'll take care of that. Or, after thinking about it for a minute, I'll say, I kind of respectfully disagree.
And that's fair.
And then so if you
And
really,
I get it.
if we need to
So
go
I'll
further than
say,
that, let's
okay.
talk about it a little bit. But that's just how it is. Instead of immediately getting defensive and immediately saying the stuff that's in front of me doesn't meet my criteria, and there must be something wrong with everything else and everyone else in front of me.
Right.
And that's how you lose. That's why you don't get it.
This ties into one of the things that we talk about, our successful members that we've learned. People who get it, because they've had another life, they've owned another business, they've been through some stuff, they know how to work through problems. Really being a former business owner, I think, is awesome. Because if you made it in a business, you can make it here. They get it.
Insecurity is the root of all evil, all
Right.
of it. And so people that complain, and I can't. I'm struggling not to swear.
That's okay.
It's because in the root of it, they're upset with their surroundings because they don't feel like they can keep up.
You know what? And all I have to say, Stephen, is I get it.
I know you do. You totally get it.
Thanks.
Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 or so minutes with us listening to the Land Academy Show. Join us next time where we discuss another interesting episode.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community, landinvestors.com. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Yeah, this is a whole funny week.
Yeah, you know why? Because a couple weeks ago, we were talking about some pretty intense real estate stuff, and you were just going, "Oh my gosh, there's got to be more to this." And so
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
This is all driven from your reactions.
Okay. Well, maybe
Me trying
then
to please
next
you.
week we'll find the happy medium.
Yeah.
I like to do a little bit of both. So thank you. Thank you for not giving me a hard brainy, like, I got to get out my calculator week.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Share the fun by subscribing on iTunes and YouTube. And while you're at it, please rate us there. We are
You're
Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.